Hello nieces, hello nephews, it's your Uncle Charles here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel where we do unbiased price action analysis. Alright guys, I will admit it, okay? You're gonna hear it from me right now. Yes, it is possible to predict the market. Oh, I said it, damn it! I said it. It is possible, right? But, hear me out here, It is possible, but you got to think about the reason the predictor is predicting, okay? Most people who predict the market, especially the average retail trader, they're predicting because they're biased traders, all right? But then there are some traders who actually know what the hell they're talking about, and when they predict the market, they're using it based for unbiased reasons, right? So when they say that they're bullish, they are picking a side, but it's because of their due diligence. And if you're a price action trader like me, you know that sometimes the market can be more predictable than other times, right? Certain phases of the market, there's more predictability, if you will, than other times, okay? When the market is trending, when it's in the trend phase, predictability is obviously much higher. We're likely gonna continue to follow the trend. When we enter the chop phase, though, that's where things get tricky. That's where it's not too good to try to predict the market because it's gonna be a lot of trappy moves. The best thing to do when the market starts getting trappy is allow the market to do its thing and identify the chop range, okay? So, I mentioned to the group, right? We go to the daily chart real quick. When after 5 red days in a row, this was like Monday. And then Tuesday, SPY decided to consolidate a little bit. And if you guys recall, I mentioned to you guys the 420 to the 425 zone was the chop range because that was the range that, this consolidation back on Monday and Tuesday, that's what they gave us. So I said to the group, if we break up this range, that's where we're going to bet to. We lost 420. That's the level we talked about yesterday. We lost 420. So losing 420, breaking down that chart range gave us some predictability there. We can predict that, hey, market is likely going to head down lower. So when you predict, you always want to keep in the back of your mind, yeah, it might not work out, right? But certain situations, certain price action setups make predictability a little higher than usual, all right? And what we try to do here on Uncle Charles' trading channel is identify the setups with I like to refer to it as highest probability. Some people want to refer to a highest predictability. And what is my favorite trade setup? When you're a sheep style trader, what is the main setups that you like to trade? The false breakdowns and the false breakout setups. Those are the two greatest trade setups of all time. Why? Because we are trading with the traps. When you trade in the stock market long enough, or when you do anything in life long enough, right? You start to see all the bullshit that, like, if you work at a certain job place long enough, you just learn how shit works. You learn how things go down. You've seen all the bullshit. You've seen all the good, the bad, the ups and the downs, right? Same thing with the stock market. And, you were trading against the market makers and all these trading bots. And there's so many tricks that the market makers can do to us. It's limited, like an NFL playbook. Even the NFL playbook is limited. There's a lot of plays that they can do, but it's limited, right? So when you've seen all the plays, you start to gain the ability to predict. Like, hey, I recognize this. I've seen this before. And the last time this happened, something else happened. You get what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to say is, while I don't like the idea of, predicting, seeing the future, yes, there are certain cases where there are predictabilities, but I like to use the price action to guide me, right? So when we get a false breakdown setup, there is a probability or a predictability that it will head up higher, right? So we look on the 15-minute chart here. How the hell did we trade this mess today? I traded playing the trap setups. False breakdown setup right here. Boom. Let me change this color to yellow. Boom. False breakdown setup. Actually, it was on the other. It was on the 1030 candle, okay? 415.5 was one of my support levels. We broke it down at 945, okay? And then what happened? It went as low as 414.33. I had a target at 414, came a few cents shy of it, but it recaptured 415.5, giving us the false breakdown setup, going as high as 416.8. I had a target at 417, but 416.8 is not too bad. A few cents shy. All right. False breakdown setup. Decent level to level move. And then what happened after that? What happened after that? Boom. The market broke back below 415.5. False breakout setup. Right? What's a false breakdown? When we break down support and then recapture that broken down level. That's the trigger to go long. That gives us a little predictability or probability that the market will go up, back up, at least for a level to level move, day trading, whatever you want to call it. And then when we get a false breakout setup, that's our trigger to go short. That's our trigger to go short, giving us some predictability or probability that we're going to go down level to level style, hit 414. Okay. The setup that I played today was false breakdown here, 415.5. I took profit around 416.7-ish. I missed this false breakdown setup, but like I always say, you miss one setup, you just catch the next setup. So once it hit 414, the next target, I wait to see what it's going to do. And then what happened? It broke down 414. I entered short. Next target was at 412. And that's where we bounced. And then what happened towards the end of the day? Bounced at 412. Recaptured 414 right there. False breakdown setup gave us a nice level to level move to 415.5. Actually went as high as 415.93. And look at that. False breakout setup. And it led to a move back down. Okay? So, is it possible to predict the market? In a certain way, yes, it is possible. I will admit it. I think this is the first time I'm admitting this. Yeah. What's today's date? October 26th. I must remember this day. Anyways, but remember, when we are predicting the market, I'm using price action, okay? Price action. All right? We're not doing it based on the news. We're not doing it based on our feelings. We're doing it based on price action with, Lord, please let me say this right, statistical edges. Statistical edges. Okay, guys? So I hope you guys found that helpful. That's my thought on can we predict the market or not? That's my thoughts on it. And that's how we traded today. We play false breakouts and false breakdown setups, event level to level. And if you've been following Uncle Charters for a while, you know this is something that I've been preaching about for years. Trade with the traps. Don't be victims of it. So hopefully now, if you're new here, hopefully now you know how to trade false breakdowns and false breakouts. Okay, one can make a living trading these setups, but it gotta be with a stock or an ETF or a ticker that has volatility. Sheep style trading works great with NVDA, Tesla, Meta. You know, it works good. It works awesome with SPY, QQQ. You know, but it might not work with some stocks that aren't as volatile. And penny stocks, you know, penny stock is complicating. It needs volume and is manipulative. Price action, sheep style trade might not work that well with penny stocks. You know, so yes, it is ticker dependent, and it gotta have the right personality. Sheep style trading won't work on every ticker. That's why you don't really hear me talk about gold or silver. You know what I mean? Those symbols are more good for like swing trading or long-term stuff. Not really good for, well, not the best for day trading. I mean, if you figure out how to trade those, great for on you. But I'd rather, you know, I stick with SPY, NVDA, you know, Meta, whatever, okay? So anyways, let's get to the daily chart. What? We lost another critical level, guys. All right? Yesterday, you know, a lot of the principles that I apply on the 15-minute chart, they work on a daily chart. It's just on a bigger time frame, right? So when we break down support level or we get a false breakout setup, something like that, that's bearish. And yesterday I talked about how we lost this critical supply zone, if you will. Remember, it was strong buying pressure from 420 in early October. I mentioned how we lost that yesterday. That's very bearish. And follow through would be the, you know, loss of the next support level around 417. Now it was a little complicated because we gapped below 417. But if we go to a smaller time frame, and you know, good to remember this for the future, we gapped below it. But look what happened intraday. We retested 417. So yesterday's support or buy zone became today's sell zone. So you got to look at it not just like at the levels, but look at the behavior of the ticker. You know, seeing yesterday's buy zone becoming today's sell zone, that's bearish price action behavior. Okay, shout out to Auntie Charters. Yeah, but daily chart, yeah, it was screaming bearish for us. And when's the best time to get bullish? When we get a false breakdown setup. And that's not the case. We was losing support level, and it led to more of a sell-off. Now, this white line right here, that's my 414 level. That's a very important level. If I zoom out here, I have fib levels from all-time high down to October 2022 low. 414 is the 50% fib level. That's a macro level. It kind of bounced today intraday, but at the end of the day, guys, we got a breakdown. Another breakdown of critical support level. We lost 420. We lost that 417. And now we lost 414. What's the next critical support level? It is around 412 as of right now. You guys can see the buying pressure. This two blue line, 412 to 412.5 zone. You know, we had some buying pressure there. If you're wondering where that came from, well, that was a gap back in May. All right, back in May, there was a gap there. It kind of got filled. Yeah, it got filled. Okay, so no more gap from May. It got filled. But I'm still going to watch it at support level, 412, because that's where we saw buying pressure. So, you know, if this sell-off is going to continue, guys, I know some people's calling for bounces and stuff, and I hope you guys make money. I don't want you guys to lose. But right now, guys, according to how I'm interpreting this, breakdowns of support, we're losing support. Breaking down critical levels, it's still bearish right now. All right, I don't want to call a bottom. What I'm trying to teach people to do is, instead of focusing on calling tops and bottoms, I want people to stop focusing on calling false breakouts and false breakdowns. I feel like we can change the game, and a lot of people will be a lot more profitable if they start looking at the price action, the charts that way, looking for false breakouts, false breakdowns, watching out for the traps, because that's what market makers do against retail traders. They're always looking to trap us and trick us out, bulls or bears. That's why it's hard. So you might as well trade with the traps and don't be victims of it, right? So if you're going to be bullish right now, we got to recapture some lost levels. So bull case scenario obviously would be a recapture of 414. I got 415.5 as a level, but I really need to recapture 417. Okay, 417, we need to recapture that. I got a level at 418.2, but a critical level that we really need to capture is 420, all right? So not all levels are the same. Some levels are a little minor, and some levels are major. Okay, so I'm trying to let you know the major levels. 414 is a major level. 417 is a major level. 420 is a major level, okay? Above 420, I got 422, 423.5, but the critical major level is 425, all right? And above 425, maybe, just maybe, we can go back test that 1 year trend line. But this must be, if we're going to get bulls, like I said, we need a false breakdown setup. And that is not what we're getting right now, guys. We broke down that 1 year trend line. We broke down the 200 daily moving average. Okay? I know RSI is oversold, but RSI can get more oversold. Okay? It can correct itself, or it can get more oversold. Depends what it wants to do, but the price action is the leading indicator. Okay? Trust me on that. So that's the bull case scenario. Recapture 414 and 417. As far as the bear case scenario, and for this sell-off to continue, best not to call a bottom. We are in short the false breakout mode right now, and if 412 fails, 410 is next. 410 is next. 408.5, previous buy zone back in May as well. There's a gap at 407. The next critical fib level is at 404. All right, so bearish sell-off continues if 412 fails our support. If it's below 414 and 412 fails our support, look to short, guys. Stay bearish. Keep holding your puts if you're holding puts. All right. Don't look for longs until we get the false breakdown setup. Recapture 414. Play it level to level, and if you want to swing, make sure you have time on them. And I recommend doing it with runners so that your risk will be low. Just in case you're wrong, your risk will be low. And if you're right, you'll be more green, and you can always add to your winners. All right, guys, let's move on to QQQ. So yesterday I mentioned to you guys, we broke down the bull flag. All right, that's a breakdown. I was very bearish, and lots of follow through here. Okay, so as of right now, 344.6 is the 1.382 fib level. If we're gonna get if we're gonna get a bounce, I need to see 344.6 recapture to put 346, 348, and 350 in play. Backtest of the flag is around 351, so keep that in mind. Above 351 would definitely be a bullish recapture. All right, put in 353 and 354.7 in play. But bull case must start with the recapture of a lost level starting with 344.6. Otherwise, support is at 343.5, 341.5, 340, and 338.4. Those levels are in play if the next support fails. 343 and 341.5, guys. That's Dow Jones. Let me go to IWM. Yeah, it's IWM chopping a little bit after slaughtering the bulls. It's chopping a little bit. It did reject from my 165.7 resistant level, so price action is still overall bearish. If it's gonna change, it gotta recapture 165.7 to put 167.4, 169, and 170 back in play. Otherwise, next support is at 163. If that fails, we're dropping down, guys, possibly down to 161.5 and 160. It's gonna be very bearish. Tesla showing some bearish follow through, could not stay above that 211.4 level. Okay, next critical fib level is at 204.5. If that level fails, guys, sell off continues. Sell off continues. Put in 202.5, 200. What do I have here? Nope. 198.2, 196, and 194.6 in play. All right. If 204.5 is lost, sell off continues. All right. Resistant is at 206, 208, 210, 211.4. 214, 215.5, 217, and 218.3. One of those levels got to recapture, starting with 206 to trigger some more upside, trigger a bounce. Otherwise, 204.5 fail. Holy moly, gonna drop down some more. Speaking of dropping, I mentioned to you guys, if 170 fails, look to short, and holy moly, went down as low as 165.6. I hope you guys made money. It's a really nice trade. As of right now, 167.6, that's resistant level. 170 above that. If we're gonna get a bounce, those levels must recapture the trigger longs. Put in 171.5, 173, 175 back in play. There is resistance at 177-ish, and the blue trend line is around 179. All right. Otherwise, if below 167.6, stay bearish. Loss of 165.5 should trigger more downside. Put in 164, 162.5, and 160-ish in play. All right. NVDA, what an amazing, beautiful trade. As you guys know, we covered this in the Discord for tier 2 members, and I mentioned the tier 2 members look to short if 417 fail. Okay. The reason is 418.4, that was a level that was lost yesterday, critical fib level. So I had 417 as the next support. So as long as below 418.4, he was going to stay bearish. Loss of 417 would have been, the trigger to go short. Let me check the 30-minute chart so you guys can see here. Once we lost 417, once 417 was lost, this is a 930 candle. Once the market opened, bears just took control and it did not look back. These are the type of trade setups that I give us in the Discord. Definitely consider joining. But as of right now, guys, it's around 402. Critical support's at 400 with 398.5 below that. If those levels fail, sell off continues. All right, 395 is a gap that can get filled. Below that, got another gap at 390.3-ish. That could possibly get filled. Otherwise, resistance is at 403, 405, 406.5, and this pivot low's at 409.5. That's resistant. I would say the critical level based on, we had a drop here, a bounce here and a bounce here around 409.5, and we lost that level today. 409.5 would be the level bulls definitely need a recapture to put more upside back in play. 412 413.7-ish, 415, 417, and 418.4 back in play. Above 418.5, 4 possibly bullish. All right, possible bottom could be in. All right, Google, it's just dropping. Right now, I have support at 122.6. Guys, if that level fails, sell-off continues, put it 121 and 119 in play. Trust no bounce unless resistance is cleared. I got resistance at 124.3. That's the level that needs to recapture. If it does, possibly bounce back up to 126 and 127. And what I got above that, 129.5. Holy moly. AMD, sell-off continued. Very nice. Yeah, yesterday I mentioned we broke down 96. Can't get bearish, bullish unless it recaptured 96. Did not. It tried, but gave us a false breakout intraday and just dropped, going down to my 93 support level. As of right now, 94.5 and 96 are resistant. If we're gonna long, don't just long it because the RSI is oversold. Combine that information with the price action. And yeah, above 94.5 and 96, I would long it, put in 98 and 99.5 back in play, possibly back up to 101.5 and 103, okay? Now, if 93 fails, sell-off continues. If I zoom out, I do have a multi-month trend line, macro level trend line here. The orange line started from October of last year. Support based on this trend line is around 91 to the 91.5 zone. Bulls definitely need to step up there, because we know what happens when macro level trend lines break down. They get real bearish. So below 91 would be very bearish for AMD, all right? Yeah, if that fails bearish, we're going to see lower targets, possibly down at 85 actually, possibly. All right, but hey, that doesn't have to happen. If 96 clears, look to long. All right, now let's see. Dark pool levels, okay? 1.3 billion in premium came at the 417.5 level. At that level, to your chart as a dark pool level. All right, as long as below it, bearish. If we can get back above, possibly bullish. All right, now let's see. Option flow here, filter for 500K premium or premiums or above. It is bearish. Holy moly. Triple Q is bearish. IWM is bearish. Tesla is a little bullish. Apple is bearish. NVDA is bearish. GOOG, nothing for GOOG. How about GOOG with the L? Nothing for GOOG with the L. And AMD. Nothing for AMD. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate you guys so much. If you want more content from Uncle Charlie, definitely consider joining my Discord. I do a face reveal if I get 200 members. Peace.